That's perfect. Hello and welcome to today's stream. We're going to go ahead and start in just a couple of minutes here. But what I wanted to start off with is just reviewing the 10-year treasury versus that 2-year treasury yield. And we're going to be basing our decisions on what to invest into on today's stream, basically off of the data that we find today. So let's just go ahead and start off slow. We can review some of the recent news, and we can also start off by actually checking out the Australian stock market and see how it's doing today. So just as usual, today we're going to just go ahead and talk about some of the most important stocks that we're going to buy into throughout this week, the ones that are undervalued, and we're going to discuss the ones that are overvalued as well. So let's just go ahead and see what to expect. And by the way, what I usually do is I live on the East Coast, and usually about 9 hours ahead of me, the stock market opens up in Australia, and depending on exactly when, like how it's performing, whether it's positive or negative, right, whether it's on the green, usually I use that as a catalyst to identify where the stocks are going to go in US market. So we can see that S&P ASX 200, which is just like NASDAQ, just like S&P 500, but Australian version of that is up 1.78%, which is pretty significant. Yeah, so they're doing pretty good today. So I guess once the stock market opens up tomorrow, we're going to be able to see a little bit more on the green side of all the stocks that we have in our investing portfolio, basically. And so we're going to see some green tomorrow. I have yet to encounter the time when the Australian stock market was green, but US market wasn't green. So just an interesting observation, just something that I usually use in my personal research. All right, so very important indicator is a yield curve. There's a lot of people that started talking about yield curve on YouTube, and a lot of people are starting to say that Federal Reserve and Federal Reserve specifically, they're focusing on potentially controlling the yield curve. And I believe there is an article by Wall Street Journal about the Fed controlling the yield curve. But as of now, if we look at some closer data right here, we can look at 1 March, it was 1.32, and then further down 2 March, 3, 5 March. So it's the highest it's been over the past 10 years actually, right? Actually, yeah, about 10 years. What is this? This is 2007. Oh, actually, no, never mind. So this is 2017. Let's go ahead and zoom out real quick. Okay, so yeah, so we were here before back in 2015, and also just going up back in 2007. Very interesting. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back into reviewing stocks, and the stock that I would like to start off with is going to be the one that somebody had commented on my video, and they asked me to break down that stock. Let's go ahead and check this one out. The ticker symbol for this stock is going to be, I bet I wrote it down on my phone. And if you have any ideas, by the way, for any of the stocks that you want me to break down, just go ahead and leave me a comment in the comment section, and we can review those. All right, yeah, so let's go ahead and start off with our favorite one, MFA. So we have it saved right here, I believe. MFA, there we go. Awesome. All right, so MFA ended up taking a little dip below the 20-day SMA line. It's still trading above 20-day SMA line. If we look at a 1-year chart instead of a 3-year chart, it's trading above 180-day SMA line. They finally posted the positive earnings, as well as, let's give me 1 second. actually go back into, there we go, the chat right here. Perfect. So they're currently trading at $4.06, so consolidating at around this price right here. We ended up actually selling off just a little bit, just because so we ended up selling half of our position, just almost half, so sold 170 shares of it. I ended up buying back at this level right here. Just because this level ended up getting rejected, I decided to reduce my position. Again, the stock was trading at $7.35 a share, was losing almost 85–90% of its value. And it was able to recover 244% ever since the lows of the price drop. MFA, let's look at the Yahoo Finance real quick. MFA, I believe they pay dividends. So MFA pays 7.43% in dividends on the annual basis, which is very hard to beat. Again, we have a lot of real estate investment trust funds that we're going to go ahead and talk about today, and those pay about 8.5 to 10% yearly, which is very good too. But in this case, again, we see some consolidation at this level. We're getting a little bit closer to, let's go ahead and actually review the 3-year chart. Yeah, so we still have a lot of profit margin, a lot of room for the profit margin up until 180-day SMA line. We have about 41% till the next major resistance. So what I would want to do is I actually would want to set up my alerts to be above this level, and if it breaks above this level, then it would be a signal for me to buy into the stock some more. Let's go ahead and look at a 180-day chart. You can take a look at GLOG. Yeah, of course. Give me 1 second. We'll set up those alerts. At or above. Perfect. All right. Let's look at GLOG. All right, so we see some manipulation here, right? Oh, okay, so this wasn't really a manipulation. This was a earnings report that ended up skyrocketing the price of the stock. All right, let's see. So we have a major support line that acted as a resistance at about this level, so $3 a share. So what I would like to do with this kind of a stock is I would want to identify and see whether this is the best deal and the best time to buy it, right? So we can see a lot of consolidation at this level at about $5.83 a share. I like the fact that it's on a 180-day chart. It's trading above the 180-day SMA line. What I would want to do is I would want to see some sort of a confirmation for the support. Yeah, over the past 3 years, the stock has been dropping, right? So ever since 2018, November 2018, it has been dropping, but it finally started to see some volume and started to pick up the pace. I like this. This is interesting. Let's look at Yahoo Finance real quick. Depends on how you would want to trade this stock. So if you decide to buy it on for a long-term, as a long-term position, it would make a lot more sense to hold on to it for a while, at least until it gets to this major resistance, right? So we still have about 80% profit margin. But if we look at a maximum chart, so 2016 was at $7. So this was a major support at this level, right? So $7.47, so $7.47. Let's go ahead and see how much does it have to go till $7.47 to about $27. So about almost 30% profit margin. That's not bad. So it pays 3.42% in dividends. That's good. It's a small cap stock, so $500 million valuation, considered to be undervalued. It seems like it's consolidating right now. I wonder what happened. I wonder what was the main catalyst for the price to skyrocket, to go up. They ended up reporting earnings that were way higher than the previous earnings. Yeah, so 24 cents on the dollar. The way I would want to trade this one is I would want to see some sort of a consolidation. Right now we see that MACD indicator is still pointing down. We have RSI indicator, which is good. RSI indicator is not on the overbought side. Let's look at a swing trade perspective, right? So let's go ahead and set up our alerts right above it. Again, I don't really like trading on the earnings report because this seems to be bringing a lot of volatility into the company. And I'm sure that if you're asking about this one, you're familiar with the company. I'm not necessarily familiar with this company, so I'm not sure what they do. They do pay dividends, which is really good. So yeah, Slug announces availability of its annual report for 20F for the year ended December 30. Okay. Yeah, so it seems like it's dealing a lot with the fossil fuels and natural resources. So we have the oil prices that are going up. We can see that the gasoline prices are going up, obviously. This might be a good long-term buy. Would I want to swing trade it? Probably for a long-term swing trade, not for a short-term, just because it seems to be on the overbought side. Let's look at a trend line, right? So we have this very strong trend line that ended up acting as a resistance right here and acted as a support 3 times. So we can see that we still have about, what is the date on this? So March 18th. Okay, so for the next 11 days, as long as it doesn't dip below $5.79 within the next 10 days, then I would consider it as a good buy. As long as it confirms this trend line as a support, if that makes sense, then it would be a good buy, at least from my perspective. But yeah, thanks for GLOG. That's a good idea. I like that. I actually want to follow up on this one. I'm gonna set up some more alerts on this one, and we'll do the follow-up on this. Really curious to see where it's going to go after this. At or below. But yeah, definitely a lot of volume, a lot of volatility on the earnings report. At or below. Perfect. Yeah, I would want it to get a little bit closer to this level of consolidation of 180-day SMA line. All right. Yeah, again, if you have any other ideas, just don't hesitate to share those. I'm wondering, actually, right here, it usually suggests you something that is similar to that. GLOP. Is it an inverse? Yeah, a lot of consolidation, but very bearish pattern. We can see some more volume coming up here, but again, $145 million valuation for the company. I don't think I'm very ecstatic about this one. So Inpx as a swing trade. Let's look. Inpx. All right, let's look at a 3-year chart. Okay, let's not do that. Let's look at a 1-year chart. Don't really like this chart. Let's look at Inpx. Inpx. Max chart. Okay. Okay, so I've seen a lot of the companies like this. So extremely, was it a penny stock? No, this is not really a penny stock, but very small cap stock. Lots of volatility, I'm sure. It's definitely it's getting closer to the level at which it's been consolidating over the past year, right? So about $1 per share, and it's currently trading on 115. You know, it doesn't seem to be that bad of a deal. But before confirming that, what I would want to do is I would want to see some sort of a reversal. We can see RSI indicator still pointing down, MACD indicator still pointing down, strongly pointing down. What I usually use as an indicator for a swing trade or for a long-term investment is I would use both of the arms of the MACD indicator, and as long as the blue one crosses the yellow one, it starts pointing up. I use that as an indicator for a long-term buy for myself. And we can also see that the earnings report is coming out soon. Okay. If the earnings report is coming out, I'd want to wait and see how the market is going to react to this. Just because the company has been consolidating for the past year and still reporting negative earnings report, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to continue to push up. But Inpx, very interesting. Doesn't pay any dividends. So earnings per share is negative $2.11. No PE ratio. Okay, I mean, makes sense. Let's see. 2021 gather. Again, not familiar with this company, but there's thousands and thousands of small cap stocks. so it would be very difficult to know all of them. Yeah, I don't like trusting those indicators, but very interesting company. Bearish pattern. Let's look at a 5-year chart in this. Again, used to trade at 600 to 230. Okay, so they had reverse splits most likely. Yeah, swing trade possibly for maybe a couple of weeks. Long-term investing into this one, no. We can see that it's been dropping ever since, just forever. So look at the max chart, right? We were back in 2014. Yeah, again, I would not trust that price. It's just in comparison to what the current price is. They probably had lots of reverse stock splits. Maybe swing trade once it gets closer to $1 level, but not a long-term investment. Very good idea though, very cool. Inpx. Let's see what it suggests to us. SHIP, it's a 5-year chart. Again, see another one that is not very, yeah, we'll take a look at that one in a second. Yeah, we can also see that this one is also not doing a very good job at recovering. So consolidation at about $2, $6, $7. Yeah, lots of volatility, but not a very, yeah, definitely on the overbought side right now with constant drop over the past couple of years. Scpl, let's get Scpl. Ooh, I like this. All right, let's look at 3-year chart real quick. Okay, good. Let's look at a 1-year chart. All right, so do you see how it's getting very, very close to its previous support level at 180-day SMA line? And I know, by the way, a lot of people use 200-day SMA. From my personal experience, 200 is a little bit too overextended, and 180 seems to be just doing the trick for me. It's getting a little bit closer to the candles that identify the support levels. So you see how the price level is getting closer to $15.93 a share, right? And we have a 180-day SMA line at 15.33, so about 50%. So it basically touched it twice and was still able to recover above it. So as long as it stays above 180-day SMA line, and once we see a little bit more of green candles, and again a little bit more consolidation on the MACD indicator, then it would be a good potential swing trade. The next level of resistance is going to be 18% higher, so that's good. So $18.50 a share. Let's look at the seasonal peaks, right? So we had the first peak, the second peak, 65 days. Let's see what else happened after 65 days. 66, 65, so just consolidation, so nothing major. And then let's look at this one, 35 days, yeah. So some of the stocks that I usually look at, I tend to check their seasonality. This one's a little bit harder to predict, but I do like the fact that it's been consolidating at around this level for a while. Let's look at the support level. So support level is going to be right here, which is perfect. So it's just above that level. Again, as long as it stays above the 180-day SMA line, we see more consolidation above it. I like that. That's a good idea for a good company. So we see that our SI indicator is on the oversold side, which is perfect too. It seems like it's flattening out just to show us the reversal, hopefully. But yeah, I like this one. We should definitely follow up on this one. And I actually want to check something else out on Yahoo Finance for this company at or below. So Scpl. All right, so this is a small cap stock again. Okay, sounds like you're focused on a small cap stocks. That's cool. Those are very, very good, especially during the recovery from a recession. So this company hasn't really existed for too long. Yahoo Finance only started reporting their charts of their price ever since May of 2019. 1-year target price is at $20 a share, which is about 25% higher than the current price. Very good, very good. I like this. I do like this. 1-year chart, P ratio is good too. Yeah, you just got to be very careful with the volume, because as long as this volume continues spiking up, continues to be higher, then it's good. But if we look at Yahoo Finance, right, so we can see a very low volume here, about 818 1,000 shares. Cool, lots of ideas, I like that. Let's go. FAMI. Nice. Again, so we just talked about this one. A similar pattern, right? So above 180-day SMA line, we can see the very first green candle. We can see a little bit of a reversal on the RSI indicator, which is awesome. MACD indicator is still pointing down. One thing that I don't like is the fact that it's extremely manipulative. So we can see spikes that are probably a couple of 100% here, right? So 140%. I would be very careful with swing trading this one, because I feel like a lot of people would be expecting the stock to go down since it's so low, or to continue to go up since it's so low. But reality is if it dips below 180-day SMA line, there's not a lot of support. The consolidation is going to be about 25% lower, which is about 70 cents per share. We talked about this company. We actually set up the alerts that were only below the price at which when we looked at it, and it ended up breaking through both of those alerts. So as long as we can see a little bit more, again, consolidation, that's all I would be searching for in this one. But I also would not want to buy this one for a long term just because of low volume. Let's look at this one on Yahoo Finance. Yeah, so very, very, very small cap stock. Okay, very low volume. If you're a day trader, then it would make a lot of sense to wait for the signals to pop up on the screen, right? And basically keep your ear close to the ground in this one. But $23.39 million, that's not a very big company, right? We can also see that back in 2018 it was at $10, and ever since then it basically was dropping up until it formed the floor at about 50 cents a share back in May of 2020, so just about 8 months ago, and ever since then it was able to recover. Yeah, I would be very careful long-term investing into this one. Maybe day trading, maybe swing trading for a couple of weeks, but the approach that I would take for this company would be to basically to consolidate, basically to show me that it's on the reversal pattern. I would not want to invest on just one green candle. And again, this is something that I'm talking about from personal experience. Don't listen to me, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just trying to find something for myself and to invest into, now for some ideas. Cool. HTH. Wow. Okay. Right away the idea is that it's on the overbought side. It definitely seems to be way on the overbought side. Let's look at a 1-year chart and see if it ended up taking a dip. Okay. HTH. Hilltop holders. HTH. Interesting. I don't think we've looked into this one before. 1.37% in dividends. I respect companies that pay dividends. That's awesome. I love that. For long-term investing, I love that. So $2.87 billion company, good. So it's a mid-cap stock. So I would not want to invest into something that is so high up just because of experience with Tesla, right? So we have a lot of companies that are way on the overbought side and they're just starting to drop significantly, right? If we look at and again, let's look at HTH. If we look at HTH, the peaks that it was at before was at $24 a share, at $29 a share, again $24. So it seems to be the $24 range is very pronounced support level, right? So previously used to be as a resistance, but again, previous resistances used to will potentially act as a support, and it was at $24 a share, right? So $24 a share. I love the fact that it's just so consistent. Like, you cannot say anything bad about the company, just consistently growing. But at the same time, is it the best time to buy it? Probably not. We have about negative 30% potential drop, but even though it's still undervalued. So it depends on what would you consider to be undervalued. Again, if we look at, let's look at a 3-year chart, we can see that the RSI indicator is on the overbought side, way on the overbought side. We can see MACD indicator is also, it's still going strong, very steadily going strong, but again, how much more does it have to give, right? Do you think the company is more likely to double their valuation right now, right? Depending on what exactly is driving the price of the stock up, or is it more likely to retract just a little bit, right? Drop by maybe 5-10% to its previous resistance levels, right? To consolidate for a little bit, and then would that be a good time to invest? So that's again my mentality, my personal experience of investing. I would want to invest into something that is on the, again, undervalued side. And when it comes to the undervalued, the example that I usually give is MITT. Look, so if we look at investment trust, the REITs, right? So real estate investment trust funds, even though the interest rates are lower, and we can take a look at the real estate investment rates a little bit later, but and they're going up just by a little bit right now, right? We can see that it pays 11% in dividends. The company used to trade at about $15 a share. We look at the max chart, even 2016 we dropped to $11, 2013 we dropped to $15. Right now we formed a very strong floor at $2.78. This company I would consider to be undervalued just because of how much money they pay in dividend, right? Even though their earnings per share is still negative, that's why they haven't been able to recover just yet. I'm not sure what's going on with the forbearance period right now. I'm sure that it ended, but I don't know if it has been extended just yet by the federal governments or not. So MITT, another one is going to be NYMT, so New York Mortgage Trust Fund. This one recovered a little bit more, I believe. Yeah, so this one was able to recover a lot more, so about 50% from its previous lows. Actually 100% if you look from the lows, but about 50% it was able to recover from its previous peaks. Maximum chart, obviously we can see an enormous drop back during the financial crisis, right? And then consolidation at around $6 or $7 a share. So that's just that's what I would consider to be an undervalued company, like one that pays 9.46% in dividends every year. I used to consolidate and trade at $6 a share for the longest time, right? And then dropped all the way down to 1.55, and it's constantly recovering. With this company, it's just going into the unknown. It's just, I do not know much about the Hilltop Holdings, but they are clearly doing something right. So if you believe that it's going to continue to go up, and again, we can see like a little cup and handle. If you just zoom out a little bit, you can see a big cup and handle formation. That's a bullish pattern, so that's good. That would be perfect. But I would want to personally stay away from something that is so overextended. But yeah, that's a very cool HTH. That's a very cool one. Wlfc. Cool. C. Okay. Wlfc. So I like the idea that the company is recovering, right? So it's not hitting the previous peak. So back in the very beginning of 2020, it ended up dropping significantly. I like the fact that ever since 2002 was, making higher highs. And I'm assuming it's, okay, yeah, so 2015 dropped to $15 a share. Very low cap stock. There's something that I'm kind of a little bit skeptical about, but I'll talk about this in a second. I do like the fact that it's recovering right now. I do like that it's not, it's already been at that level before, right? Okay, so actually the volume is not bad here either. So the company ended up losing about 70% of value, approaching 180-day SMA line. We can see this trend line, a very, very strong trend line. And as long as it continues trading above it, there might be a good buy actually. We have earnings report that is coming out soon, right? On the 11th, so in just 4 days here, 3 days. I like that. I do like that. So this level at about $35.65 a share used to act as a resistance. The way I would trade this is I would follow up on this one on Monday and see where it's going to end up. If it ends up above it, in the perfect world, I would want it to go up just about to this level right here, then come down to its previous resistance, confirm it as a support, and then continue to go up. That would be in the perfect world scenario, which I would definitely use as a identifier that, oh, this is actually a good company to invest into, at least on the mid-term, as a mid-term stock. Let's look at a 1-year chart. Yeah, so it seems like it's been making higher highs. I like that. I truly do. How much more room for improvement does it have? So, okay, so we can see a little bit of consolidation at this level at about $34 a share, just where it's trading at right now. Yeah, so it seems to be a multiple, not just multiple week, but a multiple year resistance level. So we would want to be very careful with this. I would not want to buy it before the earnings report though. Regardless of whether it's going to be bad or good, people usually tend to buy on the rumors and sell in the news. So regardless of what kind of news, positive or negative, are going to come out, I would definitely want to be buying and hopping into this stock after the earnings report. But very interesting. I'm gonna add this one actually. This is probably the most worthy one so far. Wlfc, thank you for suggesting this one. All right, let's go ahead and set up our alerts at or above, at or above as well, and we're going to do this one at or below. And again, if you have any other ideas for any other company, just don't hesitate to share those. We're going to do our review. Very cool, very, very cool. Wlfc. What about this one that ended up spiking up by 13%? No volume at all whatsoever. We're on the overbought side. All right, very interesting. Maybe let's look at some other company that we talked about last time. Oh, I definitely wanted to go look at the Gopro. I know that Gopro was one of the companies that we talked about last time, and I wonder how it's performing right now. Okay, so it's actually going up. Perfect. Okay, so Gopro. I do remember receiving some notifications on my phone about the company, but okay, yeah, so it got rejected by 180-day SMA line. Perfect. I mean, we were expecting that. We were expecting it to go either above or get rejected. Once it goes above 180-day SMA line, stops getting rejected by that, then I would want to be more interested, more willing to invest into the company. I do like the fact that it seems to be making higher highs and on the reversal. I like the fact that it didn't dip below the previous low that it had after it got rejected by 180-day SMA line. And again, I would want to follow up on this one. This is a good company, very well-known brand, and definitely has been underperforming over the past couple of years. At or above. And actually, let's look at a 3-year chart. I believe it's been, yeah, so it's been dropping for the past 3 years for a while. Yeah, once it starts trading a little bit above that 180-day SMA line, the level that we identified, closer to $8.30, then it would be a potential good buy. Again, the earnings are in May, so we still got plenty of time to see the volatility. All right, let's look at our RIBT. Okay, very cool. So it ended up reporting negative earnings, and it ended up getting closer to the 20-day SMA line. Let's look at a 1-year chart. So I would want to, if I would want to invest into a company like this, I would want to swing trade it for probably a couple of weeks, not as a long-term buy. I also don't like the fact that it doesn't have a lot of volume in here. On the, what is this, 180-day chart, it dipped below 180-day SMA line. There's the indicator that I usually use, I haven't really found the name for it, but once the 20-day SMA line dips below 180-day SMA line, it usually is a bearish indicator, and I'm not very enthusiastic about those. RIBT, let's look at this one. Does it pay any dividends? So it doesn't pay any dividends. Very low cap stock. Okay, so it seems like, yeah, I was facing a lot of consolidation after the hours close. Yeah, not a long-term investment, but maybe a day trade, potential swing trade for a couple of days. Let's look at it one more time for a 20-day chart. Yeah, I would want to see higher highs before I start buying into something like this for a swing trade. Yeah. Let's look at the next one. Wlfc. Oh, I think we talked about Wlfc. Yeah, we definitely talked about this one. Oh yes, I do remember that. That's perfect. This is one of my favorite patterns too. So if we look at a 1-year chart, it started to form this bullish triangle, right? So it started making higher highs. It had confirmed this level as a resistance. Once it broke through the resistance, it started consolidating at the level that was about 10% higher. Perfect. I love that. As you can tell, we ended up setting up some of our alerts at this level right here, which it blew past. I usually set up 4 different alerts, which are below and above. And yeah, that's perfect. Actually, I know that I have Wells Fargo on my trading account, but definitely not on this one. Not on my Roth IRA account. Very cool. And I believe they also paid dividends, if I'm not mistaken. Wells Fargo, Wlfc. They do pay 1%. Okay, so 1% in dividends, not too bad. P ratios, P ratios are high everywhere right now. I like it. I like it. I truly do. What I would want to see is a little bit more consolidation. This is such a good setup too, because it ended up dipping to about $36 a share, confirmed that as a support, and now started to consolidate here. I would want to see what happens during this upcoming week, because investing into something like this is a little bit too late for a swing trade, but for a long-term investing, that's cake. That's good. Also, another thing to pay attention to is we have this trend line. I'm going to erase it right now just because we want to extend it real quick. So what I usually do is I try to follow up on this trend line and see how much more room do we have for growth, right? So we still have a lot more room for consolidation up until the earnings report, up until, right, let's see, so March, April. So what is this, April 13th? April 14th. Yeah, so if it breaks above the $38, it starts making a higher highs, would make a lot more sense. But right now it's a little bit on the overbought side for a swing trade. Long-term buy, I like that. I like this company. All right, PFE. I don't think yeah, so we talked about PFE. Gosh, this is a little confusing chart. I don't remember where that was. Okay, now I remember. Now I do remember. All right, so I'm going to remove this one, and I'm also going to remove this one for now. All right, so we can see higher highs or higher lows. We can see a lot of consolidation. We can also see a lot of rejections at this level, right? So the company right now is consolidating about $34 a share. We ended up setting up our alerts, which were above the price when we looked at it a couple of days ago. It still makes lower lows. What I would want to do, again, I will set up my alerts for this company, but what I'm searching for is I'm searching for this floor, the trend line to be confirmed as a support. So we had a line that was drawn just like this, right? So it dipped below this trend line. Again, so we need to find a support. Where would the next major support be? The next major support is at this level right here, and it's a multiple, let's see, is this multiple month? No, this is a multiple year support level. So if it gets a little bit closer to $33 a share and it confirms it as a support, I would definitely be invested into this company. Again, don't listen to me. I'm not a financial advisor. It's just something for entertainment purposes only. Earnings report is not coming out until a while from now, so we have nothing to really worry about. You're a master. I appreciate that. But yeah, that's awesome. So very, very cool company. So Pfizer, okay. I mean, it makes sense. So I would want to set up my alerts. Let's look at create alerts at or below, create, and we're going to set up another one that is going to be a little bit closer to the previous level of support. Very cool. All right. Yeah, once we see it go up by a little bit, and once we see the MACD indicator actually starts to point up, it would make a lot more sense to invest into this company. But as of now, it's still on the bearish trend line, and I would not want to invest into something like that. Again, it's trading below this trend line. I would not want to invest into something like that long term just yet. All right, which one do we stop at? PFE. Talk about IBA. IBA. Okay, so very similar pattern to literally what we just looked at. We can see a level of resistance right here. The next level of support is going to be at around $36. And yeah, so if you look at a 3-year chart, you see this candle, the red candle that dipped below 180-day SMA line. That's why it's so important to look at different time charts, or I guess I should say this is a 1-year chart. If we look at a 3-year chart, I bet it's going to still be far away from it. Yeah, so it's not an indicator on a 3-year chart, but if you look at a 1-year chart, it dipped below 1 year, below 180-day SMA line on a 1-year chart. The next resistance is going to be, next support is going to be about 5.5% lower. While it's dropping below this, while it's continuing to make lower lows, I would not be very enthusiastic about investing into this one. Again, there are a lot of other companies that offer a lot more potential profit for growth and potential for growth in general. Again, we also see the resistance line at this level right here. Wow, this is such a perfect trend line too. We can see that it got rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, perfectly rejected by this trend line. In the ideal world, I would not want to take unnecessary risks and wait for it to actually start trading above this level. But if you're impatient and don't want to wait for that, then pay attention to this resistance line right here. Line of support, line of resistance, very good consolidation time. If you see the MACD indicator is pointing up, RSI indicator is not on the overbought, this might be a good time to wait for the consolidation. And once it starts making higher highs, it would make more sense to invest into something like this. IBA. Cool, very cool. IBA, I like that. Let's look at the Yahoo Finance. IBA. So $1.94 billion valuation, 1.81% in dividends. That's good. P ratio is very low in comparison to the industry. The maximum chart looks pretty good. The company existed for a while now, so ever since 1997, at least that's what Yahoo Finance shows us. Very cool, very cool. If you look at ever since 2017, again, making lower lows and lower highs. Yeah, if you're trying to invest into something that continues to make lower lows, I would want to wait for consolidation. But very cool, very cool. Awesome. Let's look at the next one. Next one is GSK. You guys are coming up with very good companies today. 6% in dividends. That's very good. Okay, I like this. So everything since beginning of 2019 started making. This might be a good company. This might be today's winner. Actually, I really like this. All right, so GSK pays 6% in dividends, $86 billion valuation. I like that. GSK. Let's look at this one. It's been on my radar at some point, clearly, but I do not remember reviewing it over the past couple of weeks. So we can see a double bottom right here. I looked at the 1 year chart. We can see actually triple bottom. Perfect. So at $33 a share, $33 a share, again, $33 a share, perfect. So taking advantage of this one would be the easiest if you can start seeing higher highs, right? Not a ginormous spike up and then you buy at the very top, but higher highs, slow but steady higher highs. Let's look at a 3 year chart here. Yeah, so this one wasn't very accurately drawn. Let's look at the very tip of it. Perfect. So I like this one green candle, but I would want to wait for more. Gosh, this level of support is just perfect. So 33.54. I would want to see this company start trading above the 20-day SMA line and a 180-day SMA line as well. Yeah, just one green candle can get rejected easily by the 20-day SMA line. Long-term investing into this one, this might be a good buy, especially considering the fact that the next major support is it's basically trading at the major support level right now. That's awesome. I'm definitely adding this one to the follow-up, GSK. And I'm gonna type this out as well. I have my own list of companies that I love talking about. GSK. Perfect. Yeah, definitely a potential good buy. Let's go ahead and set up our alerts for this one for sure, at or above. And let's set up another one at or above as well. We definitely would want to see whether it goes below that line of support, and if it doesn't, then we would want to again see higher highs, a little bit more consolidation again, just because even if it's a V-shaped recovery, I would be willing to miss out on this opportunity just to see a little bit more of a long-term promising chart, just because the higher highs, just because of the lower highs it just continued happening over the past couple of years. So yeah, very cool. Probably the best one so far. I think I said that about the second company today, but I like GSK so far the best. All right, we talked about FL and G. Sorry, I'm falling a little bit behind. FL and G. These companies are just so cool, and I just want to continue breaking down those. Very low volume, actually very low volume on a 1 day, 5 day chart, but okay, small cap stock, FL and G. Let's look at this one, FL and G. All right, does this remind you of a head and shoulders formation? So shoulder, head, and shoulder. To me, it kind of does remind that, but I like this support level. Again, consolidation as a resistance, confirmation of this level as a resistance, confirmation of this level as a support. We'll see whether this candle is going to multiply and continue to make higher highs. I do like that it's trading above 180-day SMA line. On a 3 year chart, we can see a little bit more consolidation, a little bit more volume, a little bit more attention to the company. What I would want to see is, gosh, this barely existed. So ever since 2018, FLNG 6% in dividends. Very cool, very cool. Where's the next line of resistance? So we have resistance right around here, so multiple year resistance, and we have about 10% profit margin. So 10% profit margin, or we potentially lose because we are trading at about the same level of support at which we were before, 12% potential loss. Probably not the best deal, but I do like the fact that the company continues making higher highs. And before we wrap up with this company, let's draw our own trend line and see where it's trading at and where it's going. Is it worth drawing it like this? Actually, let's look at a 1 year chart. Okay, 1 year chart. Okay, perfect. So this is a good line. This is a good line. So we have a very strong support, right? And then we confirm that as a resistance multiple times. It got rejected here, started going closer to its horizontal support. I would want to see a V-shaped recovery or just a little bit more consolidation. I would not want to just buy on one green candle. Ygmc. None of these sound familiar. Extremely volatile. Seems to be a lot of manipulation going on Ygmc. It's probably a small cap stock. Yeah, so $97 million valuation. Yeah, if we look at a 6-month chart, yeah, it just shows way too much volatility and not enough volume. I would want to see higher highs for months before investing into a company like this. And again, this is just me, and my personal strategy for investing is either long-term investing, which is about 9 months plus, or a swing trade for between 3 months to 9 months. That would just be my approach. So that's my strategy. All right, Ygmc, we just looked into this one. Possible, did I answer your question? Possible reversal. Let's look at a 20-day. Yeah, see, it just continues making lower lows. Potential reversal depends on what the catalysts for the company are going to be. I don't see any other indication for reversal. I would not be surprised if it goes back down to $4 per share. And regardless of what the outcome of the earnings report is going to be, I'm sure it's going to bring some volatility. Whether it's going to be good or bad, it's you cannot predict that really. So unless you're like very familiar with the company, looking at the balance sheets. But again, if we look at a company like Amazon, I remember Jeff Bezos was talking about how the company's stock ended up dropping from $300 to $160 when the financials of the company were perfect, but nobody was just looking at that. The company kept doing better and better and better, but the stock of the company just continued to go down for a while. So, and that was years ago, right? So very, very difficult to predict unless you're very familiar with the financials of the company. But very cool one. All right, KMB. Oh, you guys gave me so many that I couldn't even catch up to you, but very cool. So 3-year chart. I like the fact that it's approaching this 180-day SMA line. So recently reported positive earnings. Good. We can see some consolidation on MACD indicator. It seems to be pointing up. I like that you can kind of see the slowdown in the drop, right? We can see lower lows, but we can see that the gap between them is just a little bit smaller. Let's look at a 180-day chart. Yeah, so from here to this level, it was about was only 1%. Yeah, so it's not very significant. Depends on how you would want to trade this one. We have a trend line that is going for, what is it, a couple of months now? Yeah, just about 5 months. We can see a big candle that went slightly above 20-day SMA line. I like this, but I would want it to be making higher highs before investing into it long term. For swing trading purposes, we have 8% profit margin. We also see this resistance at this level right here, where majority of the consolidation is, right? So only 3.5, so almost 4% profit margin. Depending on how the company performs over the next couple of months, I would want it to be trading above that level. I would want to see a little bit more consolidation above $136 a share. But very, very interesting. 1-year chart. Yeah, see, we saw a ton of volatility at the beginning of the year, but then consolidation, enormous drop below 180-day SMA line. Yeah, continues making the lower lows. Again, seeing companies that are doing slightly better than this. So, Hoft. Let's look at actually KMB. And this one is okay. So it's a mid cap or a large cap stock, and we see a 3.47% in dividends. That's good. That's good. A max year chart. Yeah, it's hard to judge companies that are doing so well for such a long time, right? Even they have their peaks and valleys, but overall increasing in value. And again, so it all depends on how you want to trade this one. If you're only doing it for a day trade, swing trade for just a week or two, it makes sense. It does make sense. Again, I would still want to see a little more consolidation. But would this be the best price that you could have gotten, right, over the past couple of years of the company existing? Probably not. It seems to be a little bit more on the overbought side. So that's just me. Let's look at Hoft. Yeah. Hoft on the 5-year chart. Okay, so a lot of good growth. Hoft. Hoft. Yeah, again, very difficult to judge the company that continues to, making higher highs. That's perfect. That's awesome. The question that I usually ask myself is it a good buy? Is it the best deal that I could have gotten, right, for my money? There's a line of resistance that is approaching and might act as a resistance, right? Line of support that might act as a resistance at about $35.80 a share. On a 3-year chart, we can see it right here. And back in 2018, it was at $36, $37 a share. That was a kind of a main floor, right, at which the price of the stock was consolidating for a couple of months in 2018. Making lower lows for a while. If you're just hopping in once it gets out of this channel, right? So we see peak, peak, peak. We can see this channel, right? Once it gets out of that peak and starts making higher highs, this is where I would buy. Obviously not the best deal, but this would indicate that the company continues to go up and will potentially continue to go up. Right now, it just seems to be way on the overbought side. But I do like that. If I would have to buy this company, I would want to wait for it to, again, go above this level, right? I would want it to be confirmed as a support. Perfect world, it will continue to go up. That's what I would do. But if that doesn't happen, then I would foresee a likely reversal on this one. So KL, let's look at KL. Okay, KL. So I like that we saw a very strong V-shaped recovery back in 2020, right? So in April of 2020. Let's look at a 1-year chart. Okay. Let's look at the trend line. So our trend line is doing pretty well, so it's not that far. It's actually far away from the trend line for it not to act as a resistance, which is good. Almost making it. All right, I don't want to adjust to the actual price. I want to adjust to the actual channel at which it was trading at before. So again, I like the fact that its MACD indicator is almost pointing up, right? We see that our RSI indicator is not on the overbought side, so on the undervalued side. Let's look at a 3-year chart just for a second. We can see, okay, so multiple year support at about this level, multiple year consolidation, I would say, at this level. This would be the support line, which was right around here, which was confirmed back in 2020. It's just one green candle. Majority of the companies ended up going up on a Friday, and I would not want to use that as an indicator of, oh yes, this is perfect time to buy. Again, on a 3-year chart, we still can see the MACD indicator still. Momentum is still pushing it down. As long as it's within this channel, it's more risky to buy it while it's in this channel. Once it's out of it and confirms it as a support, it makes a lot more sense. Also, on the 3-year chart, it's trading below 180-day SMA line, which used to act as a very strong support, but no more, right? We dipped below it only a few times. Right now, we can see multiple candles that are going below that. So I'd be very careful with this one, but I like it enough to set up the alerts though, because it is on the undervalued side. I just don't see the confirmation just yet to buy it, but definitely following up on this one would be good. Very cool. I like this company. Very, very cool. And let's set up another one closer to 180-day SMA line at or above. And let's set up another one that is way lower right here at or below. Awesome. So that was KL. And actually, let's look at KL and look at the size of the company. So $9.12 billion company. We have 2% in dividends. Max chart. Okay, max chart is also good. Very cool, very cool. Some of these companies have existed for a very long time. They've just been making lower lows for about a year, year and a half. And what I would want to do is, again, just to see a little bit more consolidation, a little bit more of a reversal pattern. Yeah, I would not want to chase the bottom of the company and then just hold on to it and just watch it drop a little bit even lower. So that was, which one was this? KL? Yes. KMI. KMI, 6.62% in dividends. Awesome. So $35 billion valuation. I like that. 5-year chart. Okay, so ever since 2015, it dropped significantly, wasn't able to properly recover. It had a pretty strong resistance at about $20 a share. Let's look at what is it trading at right now? 15, and the 1-year target is 16.83. Interesting, very interesting. KMI. I do feel like we've looked into this one before. KMI. Yeah, we looked into this one before, and it continues to push up, so that's awesome. Let's look at a 1-year chart on this one. Okay, good. So we can still see that it's trading above 180, above 20-day SMA line. We can see that RSI indicator is approaching the overbought side, but in comparison to some other prices at which it was before, I would consider that as a very important indicator, at least at this point. We can also see the MACD indicators pointing up with both arms, right? So that's perfect. We just see a lot of resistance at this level, so that's the only thing that I would be very hesitant on. I like the fact that it's continuing to make higher highs, but again, multiple month resistance level confirmed 3 times, 4 times here, 5 and 6th time potentially being confirmed as a resistance. Again, perfect scenario, goes up above it, drops below it, closer to the support level, confirms it as the support continues to go up. We don't have earnings report that is coming out anytime soon, but so that's good, which is not going to act as a catalyst for the price to either skyrocket or drop significantly, but still nonetheless very important to follow up on the company. Yeah, I do like the fact that it's continuing to make higher highs. Very promising. This seems to be, from my experience, seems to be very bullish pattern. KMI. I do feel like KMI was on my radar. MFA. About 40K. Wow, that's very impressive. Let's look at ADA. All right. Let's look at ADA. Hold on. ADA. Cardano. Is that okay? So okay, that makes more sense. All right. 40K. Wow, way overbought. Very difficult to justify 40K at this point, at least from my perspective. If you're trying to day trade, it then would make a lot more sense. Depends on what act as a catalyst for the company, right? Yeah, this. I mean, is this a Bitcoin price that ended up drawing Cardano all the way up? Is it being traded, by the way, on Coinbase or not for Cardano? You can also make an argument and say that it's a good time to buy Bitcoin as well. As much as I love Bitcoin, it's way on the overbought side, at least from technical perspectives. Bitcoin is currently at $51,688. I hope Cardano does well for you too. Yes, man, absolutely. It's been traded on Binance only pretty much. Oh, okay, very, very cool. Let me look at it. ADA. What is the preferred platform that you use for trading? Is it Coinbase or Binance, or which ones do you guys usually use? I'm really curious. I know that Unicorn, I think for a while, was a good one too. Wow, cryptocurrency is doing great today. That's awesome, man. Good for you. Cardano, very cool. All right, we skipped one, I believe, which was Vino, V-I-N-O. 5.85% down. Okay, V-I-N-O. Okay, way on the overbought side. If you're trying to short the company, it would make a little bit more sense to short it, but buying into something that has very low volume, extremely manipulated, I would not want to invest into something like that. But again, not judging from a perspective of a day trader, more of a swing trader for a mid-term or a long-term investing. Which one did we just talk about? Vino, talked about Cardano. Let's look at Bio. I like this. I like this a lot. Binance to trade, very cool, very cool. Yeah, I usually use Binance. I've experienced a lot of I mean, from personal experience, I've experienced a lot of issues with Binance. I do remember when the Bitcoin was trading at 40,000, I was trying to sell, and for the longest time, I think it took me about 2.5 hours to sell my crypto, and yeah, it took a while for the actual transaction to go through. I believe I posted something on the Facebook group, and a couple of people commented on that, said that they have experienced the same exact thing. So I'm thinking about moving to Binance, just to see if they're doing a little bit better, but I've heard similar things about them too. So when it comes to BIO, it's approaching 180-day SMA line. I do like the fact that it's confirming this level as a support, right? So $568 per share. Continues to make higher highs. I like that. As long as it continues trading above 180-day SMA line, I think that's a good long-term buy. I'm going to set up my alerts for this one just because it seems to be on the reversal, right? So we saw a very similar thing happen 3 times actually right here, right? And this level was confirmed as a support right after the confirmation. And by the way, we just talked about this. So in the perfect world, right, so we would want to make higher highs above the resistance level and then confirm that as a support. Just ideally, just what happened here, and this stock ended up going up by 16%. So very good. Awesome. Multiple month support level. I would want to see a little bit more consolidation. I don't trust one green candle. That's it. BIO, very cool. Yeah, we'll check out the XLM in a second too. Yeah, okay, BIO, very interesting. So on the multiple year chart, right, ever since, again, 1984, the company was being reported on Yahoo Finance chart, but way on the overbought price for a long-term investing. Definitely seems to be on the good side for a swing trade, multiple week swing trade, but no longer than that. Binance, okay, ORAN. Lots of volume, I like that. So the price seems to be jumpy. I wonder why. Let's look. Okay, this probably, okay, nah, that was a one day chart. No, this was a 1 year chart. Interesting. And this is back in February of 2020 when the price ended up dropping significantly. So this is the end of 2019. Very interesting. So got rejected by 180-day SMA line, currently trading at $11 a share. I like this on this chart. Let's look at Yahoo Finance and find out a little bit more about the company. What is it called? That's not it. So, orange. There we go. Okay, so for long-term Okay, what I would want to ask myself is whether it would be a good long-term buy. The company, ever since 2007, started making lower lows, even though it had its value right at about $10 a share, was consolidating after that at $17 a share. But ever since then, it started making lower lows, and now currently trading at $11.88 a share. Even though it pays 5.98% in dividends, even though the company is consolidating, the way I would trade this one is I would want to trade it as a swing trade up until potential next resistance level, which is going to be expected to be at about 180-day SMA line, which is about 20% higher, or the previous lines of support, which is about 25% higher. The next support level is going to be 11% lower than the current trading price. Again, if I'm trying to invest into something like this, I would want to see a little bit more consolidation and higher highs. As of now, I haven't seen that just yet. And we can also see this trend line right here, which don't want to adjust it to the graph, which as long as it is not being rejected by this level, I don't seem to be able to get it properly. Yeah, so basically as long as it doesn't get rejected by it and continues to show it to basically identify it as a support, it would make a lot more sense to invest than, there we go, this is perfect. Yeah, see multiple month resistance level. So resistance, we see a lot of resistance going on here. So as long as it trades above $12 a share, confirms this level as a support, then we'll be able to see a lot more potential for growth, but not yet just now. So very cool, very good idea though. And I also wanted to look at the company that is being suggested. Oh, we already looked into this one. That are being suggested right now. Brazil KT Corporation SA, $4 a share. I love utilizing Yahoo Finance's suggested list. Kind of gives you a similar stocks within the cap. Yeah, so this one continues making lower lows and pays 10% in dividends, still not worth it. XLM. Yahoo Finance should be able to show it to us. If it's going to go up to $1, it took me a while to get to this one, but again, look at the technical perspective, right? So technical analysis perspective, so we had a higher high in 2018, right? A major line of resistance at about 42 cents per coin, and we have we're currently trading at 41.97, so 41 cents per coin. This is the level where it should get rejected from technical perspective, from technical analysis. But again, a lot of it depends on Bitcoin, and it seems like everything just seems to be following that. If Bitcoin continues to make higher highs and increase their capitalization, I'm looking at the chart right now on my phone, and it's doing so well. But again, is it going to continue to go up? That's a billion-dollar question. It's way on the overbought side from any technical perspective that you can look at. There's one thing that I'm forgetting about, but yeah, it's very difficult to justify buying cryptocurrency, at least for me right now. I would definitely want them to go down way lower to previous levels of 2000, like early 2019, 2018, or at least make a certain floor, right, to consolidate for a while, drop down for a while. But right now it seems to be way on the overbought side. I have a couple of friends of mine who ended up investing to Tesla and Bitcoin over the past couple of months, and they just ended up buying like at the worst time ever. But yeah, Bitcoin price seems to be consolidating. It seems to be a decent setup for a swing trade, right? So we can see some consolidation here. Who knows? Who knows? As much as I love cryptocurrency, I do like to hold on to them for a very long time. That's it. Again, for a very long time with cryptocurrencies, just about half a year. That's a very long time for cryptocurrencies. But yeah, I'm just very impressed. 40K, thinking about spending 40K investing into crypto. Good luck. Good luck. What can I say? Very cool companies, very cool companies. Yeah, let me know if you have any other ones in mind. We're going to continue looking at the ones that we looked at during our previous stream. Alright, so we looked at VNO. We ended up setting up our alerts for VNO that ended up skyrocketing. Again, this seems to be a very common pattern from my personal perspective, from my experience, is that if you can see this bullish flag pattern, right? So higher highs and one same level of resistance. If you see that, and once the price of the stock confirms that as a resistance breaks above it, right, breaks right through it, then it seems to be acting as just, you know, such a bullish indicator, and so the company ended up going up by 13% in just a matter of a couple of days once it broke through this level of resistance. If we look at a 1-year chart, the company used to trade at $50 a share and is currently trading at $44 a share. So the next major line of resistance is going to be at about 50, which is about 10% higher than the current price. There we go. One thing that I would want to pay attention to is I would want to see whether this line of resistance is going to again come into play and act as a resistance. We can see higher highs, which is awesome, and we can see that these were just peaks, right? They were not consolidation. We can see a lot of consolidation on this level right now. This seems to be a very bullish pattern. And we can also see that the next major resistance is going to be about 20% higher, which is the 180-day SMA line, or about, again, almost 25% higher than the current price at the levels of previous values that we can see on the left-hand side right here. So we're going to go ahead and identify this level as a level of resistance, and we're going to set up our alerts right above the current trading price. 1-year chart, yeah, perfect. So right above it, and then we are going to set up 2 right below this line, and going to follow up on this one. Again, if I would want to trade this company, I would want to see this kinds of consolidation above the resistance level, not below it. We can also see the MACD indicator is pointing down. We can see our RSI indicator seems to be coming down to the fair value levels. So the way I would want to trade this one is I would want to see a little bit more confirmation and consolidation above this main line of resistance. Is long-term, I want you when to take a look when you have time. Yeah, of course, let's go ahead and check this one out. ENZC. Okay, so lots of manipulation. Again, I'm not sure what acted as a catalyst for this price of the stock to skyrocket by 400%, right? But we can also see that it came down by a ton. And when I day trade, and it's I rarely day trade nowadays, but which is 180. All right, fine. Let's look at a 180-day chart. You can see this level right here. So this was confirmed as a support, right? And after that, the company ended up, this stock price ended up going up by 67% to the previous levels. It's just such a perfect setup too. You can see levels of resistance right around 67 cents a share, and you can see that this acted as a support. Now most likely it's going to act as a resistance. Definitely you can see it on this candle as well. You can see how it dipped below the line of support, and it ended up retracting that because of the support level, because of all the people who were buying at that level. And usually from my personal experience, I would see a lot of resistance at this level. Again, I would want to know what acted as a catalyst for this company before buying into something that is so extremely overvalued in comparison to where it used to trade before. If you look at a 1-year chart, right? So the company out of the blue just started getting so much attention, so much volume. So ENZC. Okay, so it's over-the-counter stock. Okay, makes sense. I mean, you can see a lot of that with OTC stocks. Small cap, okay, so under 1 billion, doesn't pay dividends. I'm not surprised with a small cap stock. It's very, very common. Yeah, very manipulative. I tend to stay away from companies like this just because, you know, from personal perspectives of, you know, long-term investments. They found new chromosomes on HIV or something, I think. Yeah, I'm not entirely positive, so I'm not very familiar with this company, but very cool, very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, if you have any other ones, don't hesitate to share. I think that's really cool to look at different markets. I tend to look at the companies that are more on the higher end, I should say mid-cap or large cap stocks. CCIV, I wanted us to follow up on CCIV just because we haven't talked about this one ever since last week. Let's look at CCIV and follow up on some. Wait, CCIV? Did we talk about CCIV? CCIV? I don't know why. Oh, I do remember that. I do remember that. One of the subscribers was talking about how CCIV is going to go up to the moon, and we made a bet, kind of a bet that it's going to continue, like it's going to drop down, and it gapped, just gapped. Okay, I'm removing this one, CCIV, from my watch list, but I'm glad I won. I feel fulfilled in this one. I feel good. All right, we talked about MITT, CIM. Okay, CIM is also, just like a lot of real estate investment trust funds, are continued to push up. And let's look at a 3-year chart. Yeah, so perfect. So again, so this would I mean by searching for a small, or I guess I should say mid-cap, undervalued stocks. We see the interest rate going up right now. We can see that the company used to trade at about, what, $22, almost $23 a share, consolidated, and I'll show you a longer chart, but for multiple years at about $19, $20 a share. We can see that it's trading currently way below the price at which it was trading at over the last couple of years. And it's trading above the previous high, and it seems to be confirmed that as a support. We can see a lot of potential room for growth, which is 28%, and I believe the company CIM also pays hefty dividends. CIM, they pay 10% in dividends. Company continues to make higher highs. 5-year chart, again, as I said, if we look at a 5-year chart, the company used to trade at about $18, $19 a share. So this is what I mean by having a good setup. From my perspective, this is a lot more appealing than some of the companies that we talked about at the very beginning of this stream. But yeah, it seems to be overvalued. But again, you have to take a bigger look, right? Look at the bigger picture when it comes to stocks like this. You can see a lot of consolidation at $15, $14 a share. Definitely took a dip in 2012 at $10.80, but we know that if it's a real estate investment trust fund, if it's a commercial investment trust fund, then because of the low interest rates, because of the illness, that's why the company ended up taking such a big nosedive, because they have to pay obviously 90% of their profits to the shareholders because it's a REIT. So, but yeah, let's look at the AITX. Yeah, hopefully you guys finding value in this, and if you do, don't forget to smash that like button below. I tend to forget to ask people to do it, but YouTube recommends the videos, so I'd appreciate that. All right, AITX. So again, I see a lot of the companies like this. If you're trying to day trade it, would this be the best time to buy it? You can see a lot of consolidation, right? I'm gonna zoom in on this real quick. We can see an enormous spike above 180-day SMA line. And this is, again, this is such a perfect setup too. If you would have been the one who are asking me about it a couple of days ago, right, on last Thursday, before we opened up on Friday, my answer would have been to pay close attention once you're approaching 180-day SMA line. Right now, we can see, let's not adjust it to the current price, let's be accurate on this. So right around this level right here, that would be a strong support line. We can agree with that, right? So acted as a resistance, consolidation, We can see a lot of support here, a lot of support here, a lot of support, and again, a lot of support above 180-day SMA line. The problem with this is that 20-day SMA line acted as a resistance multiple times over the past couple of weeks. Acted as a resistance right here, resistance, resistance, might potentially act as a resistance here. It depends on how the company is going to do within the next couple of days. It just, I'm not very interested in investing into something that is that used to be worth 0.001 cents, right, in comparison to some of the other companies that you would want to invest into for a long term. Not sure what acted as a catalyst. That's what I'm trying to say. If you see a lot of value in this company, don't get discouraged. This is only, again, for entertainment purposes only. AITX, very interesting. Big spike, very big spike recently. Was it 42%? 42% in one day. That's crazy. That's crazy. AITX, very cool. Thank you for suggesting this one. Plug. I think we talked about Plug. Very helpful. Thank you. Do you have favorite? Yeah, I'll talk about my list of favorite ones here in a second, but yes. So 5-year chart. So I like the 1 month. No, actually, hold on. I just saw it. Yeah, so what I liked is a 1-day chart. If this would have been a 1-year chart, I would have said, oh yes, this is great. It might potentially go up just because it's consolidating. It's about to skyrocket. But again, if this is only 1 day, this is not going to give us much information because the company continued making lower lows ever since beginning of 2021, so February. So it's not that long. But again, if we look at the overall performance of the company, so it went from $3 to $2 valuation all the way down, all the way up to $39, almost $40 a share. I think it's way on the overbought price still. I'm not sure what acted as a catalyst for the company's price to go up. Plug Power, upside potential. These no, this is ad. Yeah, again, not sure what acted as a catalyst for this one. Lots of volume, lots of volatility on this one. So I would want to stay away from this one just for the long-term purposes. But yeah, very cool one. Yeah, if you have any other ideas, that would be great. And I actually want to look at some other ones that Yahoo Finance suggests that have the similar pattern. Dollar Power System, yeah. All right, so CIM. Let's look at CIM. We haven't followed up on this one ever since beginning of the stream. Again, these companies that I'm showing you right now are going to be the ones that I see the most potential in. And I ended up actually, yeah, I ended up buying a couple of these companies on Thursday, I believe, and I have a list here on my iPad. But a lot of these companies that are real estate investment trust funds, because of this, where is it? The yield curve going up, ended up losing a ton of money because yield curve tends to act as a catalyst for the reversal of the stock market, real estate market. It usually acts as a signal for a recession or a depression, and it has been doing that for such a long time, right? So we can trace it back to, let's see if it's going to allow us to look at the long chart, right? So you can see recession, again, recession every time when it goes up to a certain level, which is about 1 point, then it signifies a strong recession. And here we had almost identical, right, spike. So we had a bottom, spike, and then another bottom that was slightly higher. We had bottom, spike, and then another bottom, and it continues to go up. So I'm not trying to reiterate, I'm just trying to explain why this price of the real estate investment trust funds ended up going down, just because of the interest rates and the government bonds, the percentage that they yield. So 2 and 10-year bonds. So when we look also at CIM, the way I try to treat these companies is, yes, I like the fact that the company still shows a lot of potential for growth, right? About 30% till 180-day SMA line. Yes, I like the fact that the company still shows 40% till the next line of resistance. But when we look at the RSI indicator, we can see that it's already on the overbought side, and about this level has acted as a resistance before that. The way I would want to trade this company is I would want to see and follow up very, very closely on it to see if it's going to make higher highs. At this point, when it starts to slow down and act as a resistance, this is when you have to kind of slow down and figure out whether it's going to continue to go up by setting up alerts or not. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. But yeah, so these kinds of companies are my favorite ones. These are the ones that ended up not fully recovering from beginning of the recession, right, because of the illness. And these kinds of companies I see a lot of value in because they also pay a lot of dividends. And I believe we already looked at CIM. I think we said that CIM has a lot of dividends that they pay. Yeah, so 10%. One of my favorite for day trade when the market is healthy. LOL. AVGR. Let's look at that one. AVGR. Well, I mean, let's look at a 1 year chart. When the market is healthy, you mean like when it just continues to go up every single day, then for a month, then sure. I mean, that's a great company to invest into. The only, like, obviously as long as it's going up. Right now, it's getting close to that support level, which might be a good indicator for the company to, again, to either skyrocket, go up significantly, right, or continue to go down, just because it has been doing that over the past couple of days. So AVGR. Yeah, so you see how it ended up dipping below 180 and the 20-day SMA line. I would have to be very, very precise with my trades if I'm trying to do a day trade on this one. The earnings report is going to come out here soon, but again, we have, I feel like I said but again so many times already during the stream. We definitely want to pay attention to the earnings report, but keep in mind that if the patterns acted as, you know, a certain way prior to that, if we saw this level being as a resistance and this level being as a support, it doesn't necessarily have to happen this way, because we didn't have earnings report coming out, we didn't have the 180-day SMA line approaching anywhere here, right? But at this level, we're just way on the overbought side still, just across this 1 year chart. So AVGR, very cool one. But for day trade, yeah, don't even sorry about it. Get it. SSYS. Yeah, so SSYS, very interesting. So until it confirms a certain level, hopefully this level, right? I'm assuming that if you're asking, you're probably interested in following up on this company. SSYS at a $21.2 per share, I would want to see higher highs. I would want to see consolidation. I have not seen that just yet. The fact that the company is trading below 180 and below 20-day SMA line tends to show a very bearish pattern, and I would want to stay away from this one unless it shows me that it's going to continue to make higher highs. As of now, I have not seen that yet, even though we see the MACD indicator and RSI indicator are very favorable in comparison to where it was before, just within the last, what is it, couple of months. If you look at a 3-year chart, I bet it was flat. Well, actually, no, it was a lot of volatility. I wonder what acted as a catalyst for this company. This kind of company seems to be very good for swing trades or day trades. All right, let's look at a bigger picture. SSYS. $1.5 billion valuation. 5-year chart seems to be fair. They don't pay any dividends. You know, this would have been the company that pays dividends, and if they would have paid about 5 or 6% in dividends, I would be more likely to invest into something like this. For a swing trade, I would have to follow up on this one. I would have to read the news. I wouldn't want to wait up for the catalysts to invest into this one. But long term, it's just been consolidating at this level for a while, and I think that there are other companies that can offer a better potential for profit. But thank you for saying this one. This one is pretty cool. So SSYS, I don't see this pattern very often where you can see consolidation at the same exact level for a while and where they don't pay any dividends. It's possible they also cut off the dividends for at some point. And VTA. How did I do when the market was bloody? I did actually very well because majority of my stocks, but majority of my portfolio are in REITs. So you can see some of them here on the left-hand side, right? We have Ygmc. Even though it dipped below, I'm still doing fine on a lot of these shares, and plus they pay dividends. MFA is doing very well too. Again, I sold some of them just because the RSI indicator and the MACD indicator are consolidating, and I would want to wait for that confirmation here. But I only sold portion of my shares, and I only sold them I sold them all in one day, right here, so before the actual big red day. So when Tesla ended up going down by 6 or 7%, I wasn't really hurt like some other investors. So that's just me. Again, not bragging, I'm just saying. I'm just predicting the markets here. All right, NVTA, I think the next one that we talked about. So if we look at a 5-year chart, it continues to go down. I like that it's not a small cap stock. We see max chart is looking pretty good. NVTA. That one sounds so familiar. NVTA. 3-year chart. Okay, so we can see a very strong line of support, I guess a resistance that acted as a support twice here, and we still see about 20% potential of loss up until the next major support. I just see that there's something going on with the company where when it reported their earnings, it just continued to go down and just like a waterfall. So I would want to see some sort of a consolidation, as simple as that. I don't like investing into something that I think is way oversold up until the confirmation. So all I'm searching for is the confirmation. At this point, I don't see the confirmation, but AMD, yeah, I love AMD. The only thing with AMD is that it has done so well. How can I say anything bad about the company that over the past, 5 years, right, has been just higher highs constantly, and then just skyrocketed at the very, beginning, yeah, so end of December, beginning of January of 2020, it ended up skyrocketing. So that's awesome. The only thing that I'm sort of fearful of, not really because I'm not really investing into the company just yet, is trend line, and I'll try to see if it's shown here. Yeah, so you can look at such a big gap between 180-day SMA line and the current trading price, even though we see a lot of support at this level, right? So confirmation of a support, confirmation of a support, confirmation of a support. If we look at Tesla, we can also see, no, this is not the perfect, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. So what I would want to see with this company is I would want to see it make higher highs. It seems like this confirmation of a support was very strong because this candle ended up selling off, but then ended up receiving a lot of volume of buyers who ended up buying into the company at this level. And also when we talk about an influx of buyers, majority of these trades are happening by hedge funds, by mutual funds, investment, just enormous companies, and all of that is happening automatically. So as much as you see day traders trying to make a living here and there, it's very difficult to charge after those 1 or 2 day gains. And again, just from personal perspective and personal experience, I admire those day traders who make hundreds of thousands of dollars every month by trading, but you have to be full on investing into this, and just use all of your knowledge and pay all of your attention, be extremely emotionally intelligent in order to be able to handle those kinds of volatile moments. But with this company, we still see, let's see, potential for loss about 26% till the next major support level. I would want this company to continue to go down. I would want it to come down to probably about $56 a share in order for me to invest. Even at those levels, even those valuations, I bet the AMD's P ratio is extremely high. I mean, it's 38. It's not as high as like Amazon's or Google's, but I love AMD. I think that company has a very bright future. If you can visualize this. I'm going to try to do my best here with this trend line. It's not very accurate just because it's oh yeah, that's actually very good. So support. We can see that support level would probably be at around $56 a share if the company continues to go down. So I would want to see this as a level of support. Smart. Did you mess with GameStop or AMC at all? I actually no, I not really. I ended up just following up on that. I thought it was very interesting to look into those companies, but I ended up only taking a position of just one share. I think I bought one share of each just to see on my portfolio, because I follow up on my portfolio every day and I wanted to see how it's doing. And I just kept reading the news, but I didn't personally invest much into the GameStop and AMC. But yeah, very cool, very cool companies. I think my favorite one so far was GSK. That's the one that we found during this stream. I like that. VNO. Which one did we talk about? Oh, HEP. I wanted to follow up on HEP because that one pays, I think, 9% in dividend. That's perfect. So I ended up taking a position in this company a couple of days ago, actually a couple of weeks ago. I think we mentioned it 2 weeks ago in our stream. And what we liked about it is that the potential of the reversal. If you look at a 180-day chart, we ended up seeing higher highs, and we saw this consolidation on this level. We ended up identifying the channel. Once it breaks through the channel, we said we would want to buy. We set up our alerts, which ended up getting triggered. And at the level at which we identified it was, the price ended up going up by 15%. So that's perfect. So HEP is doing well. Let's see whether it's on the overbought or on the oversold side. So $18 a share. We can see the next resistance line at 16% higher. We can see our SI indicator way on the overbought. MACD indicator is also pointing up. Everything seems to be pointing down, that the company should go down in their price and their valuation. But what I do like about this, this is not a very good chart. I would stick to the one that I drew prior to this. I like the 20-day SMA line pointing up, and I like the fact that the channel is still going through and going strong. So 15% up, I'm happy with that. Yeah, thanks for advice. Absolutely, my pleasure. All right, ETR. Let's look at ETR real quick. ETR is one of the companies that we followed. Okay, so this one is again showing us on waterfall. Very cool. Yeah, so this is the one that also pays dividends, I believe. I think that one pays about 4% in dividends, ETR. I love dividend companies, as you can tell. So 4.26% in dividends. 5-year chart still continues to make lower lows, but approaching this multiple year line of resistance, which I actually, I admire this one. So I want to follow up on this one for sure and get some more alerts set up. And I can see that we already have a couple more companies that we need to review. So we'll just do that real quick and we'll take a look at those here in a second. Yeah, thank you for being so active. That's awesome. I appreciate all the ideas, all the companies that we're reviewing. That's awesome. That's how I build up my portfolio, by talking to you guys and by trying to create a list of companies that I myself want to invest into. At or below. There we go. That's awesome. Let's look at RUN. Is RUN not the one that you wanted? I don't think RUN. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, definitely on the overbought side still, just because the shares of the stock were consolidating at about $14, $13 a share for the past couple of years. I would not want to see such an enormous spike, and then once it starts to come down, to buy. I don't think that's a very good, from personal perspective, time to buy. I know nothing about the company, so I'm not sure what acted as a catalyst for the price of the company to skyrocket. It's possible that they ended up merging with somebody else or making a deal with somebody else. There's one thing that I like about this is, let's let's see, why is this not showing it to me? Okay, yeah, so it did show it to me, perfect. One thing that I do like is this line of support. So it's currently trading at this line of major support and consolidation that we saw right here. So if, let's say I'm a day trader, what I would want to do is I would want to wait for some sort of a consolidation. I like the fact that, you know, the earnings report had already went through. We already saw a lot of volatility. I would want to see, so I like what I see on the RSI indicator. It's pointing up, and it's on the undervalued side, oversold side. We also see MACD indicators starting to point up, but I would definitely want to wait for a better confirmation. At this point, I still see a lot of downward pressure on the company. Very cool. RUN, very cool. PINS. Okay, so this one is also bloody waterfall. Let's identify our support. Okay, one thing that I like about overall this company is that it used to trade above 180-day SMA line, and it's forming this very strong resistance and then again support level. Same thing that we talked about during the previous review of the RUN. I would want to see a little bit more consolidation. I'm not sure if you're using some sort of analytical software to find these companies, but these are very, very similar in their patterns. What I would want to do is I would want to see a little bit more consolidation. If it continues to drop below this line of support, that would identify, that would be a signal to me as a, you know, the shares of the company will continue to go down. So I would not want to buy into something just thinking that it's on the oversold side. I would want to see the confirmation of it going up. And we haven't seen any 20-day SMA line crossing the 180-day SMA line indicators today, but I'm sure we'll find some. TER. Okay, yeah, so some of the companies that you're pointing right now are very, very similar. So again, I would want to see a little bit more confirmation of consolidation right now, because right now it's trading slightly, actually, is it below or above? So it dropped below this 108, the previous line of support, but it's trading slightly above that. But again, it's only one green candle, so I think Friday was pretty decent for the companies that you just pointed out, Elon. So yeah, very cool, very, very cool. I like these ideas. So TER, I actually wonder if they pay any dividends. TER pays 0.35% in dividends. If we look at a max chart, way on the overbought side. It reminds me of Tesla, right? So we see it just seems to go down, but it continues to go up. Seems to go down, continues to go up. It can only do it for so long. So, and again, we saw an enormous spike at these. So I'm not sure what's acting as a catalyst for this company, but I would not want to invest into something for a long term when it's so overbought. So TER, how profitable are dividends? I mean, dividends are very profitable, especially if you are investing into something long term. I think there is, and again, it depends on which kind of companies you're investing into. If you're investing into growth stocks, and if you're investing into something that also pays dividends, you can kind of imagine its compound interest, the power that it holds behind it. There is one company that I really liked that I invested into. Which one was that? Don't remember what it was. And I believe I did not sell it. I would have to look it up in my other account real quick. Maybe, oh, I think it's KHC. I think the ticker symbol is KHC. It should be Kraft. Yes, perfect. So KHC, I wanted to follow up on this one. I know I didn't look at it on Friday. So 1 year chart is looking pretty good, so it's continuing to push up. We see that 20-day SMA line is trading still above 180-day SMA line. We are seeing slightly a formation of a cup and handle formation, so we see a cup and a handle formation. This usually acts as a bullish indicator, and if we look at 180-day SMA line, we can see that it seems to be confirming this level of $36 a share as a support. And let's look at a 3-year chart, and you will see it's been dropping for a while, right? So it's been dropping for a while. Now we can start seeing higher highs, and it's trading just above this 180-day SMA line. I'm monitoring this company very, very closely right now and contemplating about adding to this position because there's a lot of volatility and a lot of this company has existed for a very long time, and I believe this is the one that Warren Buffett ended up losing a ton of money on. KHC. He just ended up buying it when it continued to go down and it reported the earnings, which were lower and lower and lower. So this company ended up setting a very strong support level at about $25, $27 a share, and now it's finally out of this trend line, which it was out back in March of 2020, and it started finally making higher highs, with obviously peaks and valleys, but pays 4.23% in dividends, $46 billion valuation. Seems to be overvalued on the Yahoo Finance, but I don't really pay attention to that very much. But yeah, very good chart. I like this one. I do think this company is very much undervalued. But again, I'm not a financial advisor, not telling you to buy into this. It's just something for entertainment purposes only. Do you have any must buys for a long term? Like, if I would have to say that there's a must buy, this is one of my personal must buy companies. This is something, again, existed for a while. It has been consolidating. It shows that it's about to start the reversal. It has the confirmation. And what I tend to add to my portfolio are the real estate investment trust funds, as much as I believe that low interest rates potentially bring down the price of those stocks, of the REITs, but dividends that they pay are enormous. The price by which they ended up tanking is very significant, and the recovery is awesome too. So far it's been amazing for me over the past year. Like, if we look at, again, and we talked about this one just about an hour ago, MITT, right? If we look at max level, we can see that back in 2016 it had a valley, 2013 it had a valley again, and then it's currently trading at $2.76 a share, even though it's just way undervalued from technical analysis perspective. It's not approaching 180-day SMA line anytime soon. It's one of those companies that hasn't recovered yet, and there's a difference between MITT and NYMT and other real estate investment trust funds. We see a lot of millions, right? So we see a lot of billion-dollar REITs, but this one is a very small cap stock, so it's not it hasn't been able to recover just yet, but it's one of those undervalued companies that I'm just holding on to those shares in my portfolio. Again, just me. And by the way, I think since 2 of you subscribed, I think that pushes me over 400 subscribers. So thank you for that. I'm very excited. That's awesome. All right, let's continue pushing through those, and let's check out DFEN. I think I've looked into this one. DFEN. So DFEN, small cap stock, continues to go up. One of those companies that are still, again, undervalued in comparison to where it was before, back in 2018, and it ended up taking this big dip all the way down to $28 a share. We're continuing to see higher highs. Company ended up gaining 3.45% at the end of the year. Sorry, at the end of the day on Friday. And at the very beginning of 2020, it ended up dropping from $69 all the way to $6.63. What is it, 90%? DFEN. Oh, this is probably, what is this? Okay, so this is the 3X shares. Okay, makes sense. That's why we ended up seeing such an enormous drop by 90.39%. Again, the company was able to recover 145% from its previous lows. Excuse me, it's consolidating right now, and I would want to actually take a closer peek at this, because we had this channel which was confirmed as a support and it was confirmed as a resistance multiple times. I would want to definitely follow up on this one and see once it breaks above this resistance. I would want to see the confirmation before investing into this, but very cool company. So AYX. Do I play any games? No, not really. AYX. AYX 3-year chart. Okay, so very interesting, very interesting. AYX. So a lot of support at this $83 per share level. I like the fact that it's undervalued right now, but before buying into something, I would want to see the confirmation. I would want to see more consolidation going on. Let's look at AYX chart on the Yahoo Finance, and let's see how much it stretches. Okay, so $5.55 billion valuation. We can see that back in 2019, 2020, the company used to trade at $93 a share. This is where the major support level is going to be. The company, ever since 2017, ended up going up from $15 a share all the way up to 173. So 1,000% interest. Very cool. The way I would want to trade this one is I would want to see consolidation. I would want to see higher highs. It's very difficult to justify buying something that just ended up dipping below this line of support, right? I like the fact that back in 2020 was able to confirm this same level as a support level. So no dividends, very interesting. I wonder what again acted as a catalyst for this one. AYX. Support. So yeah, we see a lot of resistance here. Confirmed it as a support, confirmed it as a support, confirmed it as a support again. Once I see a little bit more consolidation, I want to follow up on this one. Very cool. This might be a good swing trade for a couple of weeks. Investing into it long term, also potential good buy, but again, I would want to see consolidation. I don't need to see much volatility to buy into something that is selling off. I would want to see a little bit more stability, especially with something that, did we say that end up paying any dividends? Yeah, especially with something that doesn't pay any dividends, I would want to see a little bit more stability. But AYX, actually pushing off of that, maybe we can find some other ones that are worthy of actual investments into them over the next couple of days. Okay, so this one shows a lot of potential profit when it comes to just regular growth, right? So we ended up going from $25 all the way to $291. This dip is not very significant on the long term. Interesting. It doesn't pay any dividends, so I'm not very stoked on this one. Yeah, so it shows us very similar patterns, very big dives. Still no dividends for the companies that we're looking at. Okay, very cool. All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and review a few more, and let's wrap this up. OGE is another good one. OG. Let me go look into this one. OGE. Did we check this one out already? I don't think we looked into this one today. OGE. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we looked into this one. So it ended up dropping below the channel of the support. It ended up reversing and having this very big green day, 3.19%, recovered back to the prices at which it ended up falling off of. We're going to still set up our alerts because it still is within that bullish pattern, bullish flag pattern, at or above and at or below. Perfect. All right, let's see what else. OG, so we're good with OG, and NWN, we talked about that one. CIM, I think we talked about CIM. Yeah, we talked about CIM already. Good. And IVR. Okay, so IVR is another potential good buy. So we ended up not setting up our alerts. I'm actually kind of surprised about this. Maybe it ended up triggering about all of them, but create an alert at or above, create, and let's do another one at or below. So this is another one of those companies that ended up dropping so significantly at the beginning of 2020. At the end of 2019, used to trade at about $16 a share. IVR is currently trading at $3.17 a share, or 77 cents a share. It ended up having a spike, just like majority of the real estate investment trust funds, at the very beginning of 2020. Never mind, in June of 2020, it ended up dropping again like a rock back down to about $2.77 valuation. Let's look at a 180-day chart. We see that this trend line is still trading above this trend line. What I would want to do is I would want to follow up on this one and see if it's going to continue to make higher highs. If it does, then we're golden. If not, then IVR, we would want to wait for the consolidation at the level of next support. But there we go. So these are the companies that we're interested in. I hope you guys were able to enjoy this, and thanks for subscriptions. Thank you, for all the comments that you ended up participating in this video. I hope you were able to find value in this. We're doing this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and yeah, don't hesitate to leave me some comments in this video, even if you're not watching it live, with some of the ideas of the companies that you would be interested in, and we can break those down in the next video. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next time.